Hello and welcome to Hausa TV News at the top of the hour, coming to you from our studios in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mary Agiobo. Our top stories. Federal government orders NAFDAC to suspend sachet alcohol enforcement. Federal government to begin sale of selected state-owned assets in 2026. Cross River inaugurates task force to enforce building compliance. On the foreign scene, 9 killed in school shooting in British Columbia. Now the news in details. The federal government has directed the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control to suspend all enforcement actions relating to the proposed ban on sachet alcohol and small PET bottle alcoholic products. In a statement issued by the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, authorities instructed NAFDAC to immediately halt factory shutdowns, warehouse sealings, and any actions amounting to a de facto ban. Government officials said the directive followed concerns raised by both the SGF's office and the Office of the National Security Advisor over possible security and economic consequences of enforcing alcoholic policy framework. The ban without a fully implemented national alcohol policy framework. The government assured stakeholders that consultations are ongoing, adding that a final decision balancing public health, economic stability, and national security considerations will be communicated after interagency review. In another development, the federal government, through the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, has invited global investors to participate in Nigeria's 2025 oil and gas licensing round, offering 50 blocks. Speaking at the Sub-Saharan Africa International Petroleum Exhibition and Conference in Lagos, the Commission's leadership said the round is designed to unlock upstream potential under the regulatory certainty provided by the Petroleum Industry Act. Officials noted that Africa's share of global energy capital expenditure has grown significantly with renewed investor appetite for both frontier and established hydrocarbon basins. The government also expressed confidence that reforms in transparency, governance, and regulatory predictability will attract technically competent and financially capable investors into Nigeria's energy sector. Still on the federal government announcing plans to begin the sale of selected state-owned assets to private investors in 2026 as part of its broader economic reform agenda. The Minister of Finance said authorities are finalizing which assets will be offered and the structure of the transactions, emphasizing a focus on partnerships and efficiency. He noted that recent reforms aimed at restoring macroeconomic stability have improved investor confidence and positioned Nigeria as a competitive destination for capital. He noted that recent reforms aimed at restoring macroeconomic stability have improved investor confidence and positioned Nigeria as a competitive destination for capital. Government officials, however, planned asset sales will align with efforts to drive job-rich growth, attract long-term investments, and strengthen fiscal sustainability. And now the Sokoto state government has renewed its commitment to eliminating vaccine-derived poliovirus type 2 by 2026 through intensified vaccination and surveillance efforts. Governor Ahmed Aliyu made the pledge during a high-level engagement with representatives of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, highlighting strengthened community mobilization strategies. Although Nigeria was certified wild polio-free in 2020, outbreaks of vaccine-derived strains persist in parts of the country due to low immunization coverage and mobility challenges. The state says it has recruited additional health workers, invested in cold chain infrastructure, and released counterpart funding to close immunity gaps and protect vulnerable children. And political consultations have intensified in Bayelsa State over the choice of a replacement for the late deputy governor. Stakeholders are divided over whether the position should remain within Sagbama for continuity or reflect broader zoning considerations within the senatorial district. Under constitutional provisions, the governor has the authority to nominate a replacement subject to confirmation by the State House of Assembly. Observers, however, said the decision could significantly shape political alignments in the state ahead of future electoral contests. And now we take a pause here, and up next, a news story from the build sector. Do stay with us.
Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts. On Facebook, Housing TV Africa. On Twitter, Housing TV Africa. Instagram, Housing TV Africa.
Welcome back. Glad to have you join us on Housing TV News at the hour. And now to the build sector. Real estate has emerged as the most preferred investment asset among respondents in Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, and Uganda, according to a news cost of living report. The survey, based on thousands of responses, showed property accounting for the largest share of investment allocations, ahead of stocks and mutual funds. Analysts attribute the trend to investors seeking stability, rental income, capital appreciation, and diversification amid inflation and currency pressures. The report also notes that growing rate markets in countries such as Nigeria and Kenya are also expanding access to property investment beyond direct ownership. And now, Cross River State government has inaugurated a Building Plan and Development Control Task Force to enforce urban planning regulations and curb unauthorized construction. State officials said the task force will monitor compliance with approved building plans and ensure safety standards across urban and rural communities. Meanwhile, authorities have described the initiative as critical to reducing structural risks, protecting lives and property, and promoting sustainable development. The government also emphasized collaboration with relevant agencies and public sensitization to strengthen orderly urban growth. Still on the build sector, Banana Island in Lagos has officially banned short-led Airbnb-style rentals following reported criminal incidents linked to transient occupants. Reports indicate that several suspects were apprehended after allegedly using short-term rental units as operational bases. The decision has sparked debate over estate security, investor exposure, and the future of the short-led market in high-end residential communities. Meanwhile, analysts warn that sudden regulatory shifts could affect mortgage obligations and projected returns for property owners who depend on short-term rental income. And now to the foreign scene. Panama has introduced a new immigration reform, creating a permanent residency pathway for international students who have studied in the country for more than 6 consecutive years. The policy marks a significant shift from previous rules that restricted students to renewable temporary permits with no transition to permanent status, engaging eligible applicants to provide official proof of long-term academic presence and prior educational residence permits. The government says the reform reflects broader efforts to attract and retain skilled talent amid growing global competition for human capital. And finally, 9 people have been killed and at least 25 injured following a shooting at a secondary school and nearby residence in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia. Authorities confirmed that multiple victims were found inside the school, while others were discovered at a nearby home. The suspected attacker was also found dead at the scene, with what police described as a self-inflicted injury. Meanwhile, investigations are ongoing as officials work to determine the motive behind the attack and provide support to the affected community. And that's the much you can take on Housing TV News at the hour. But before we go, let's take a recap of our top stories. Federal government orders NAFDAC to suspend sachet alcohol enforcement. Federal government to begin sale of selected state-owned assets in 2026. Cross River inaugurates task force to enforce building compliance. And on the foreign scene, 9 killed in school shooting in British Columbia. For more news on housing sector, subscribe to Housing TV Africa on YouTube and follow Housing TV on all social media platforms. Download the Housing TV Africa mobile app on Google Play Store and Apple Store. Many thanks for watching. I am Mary Agiobo. Bye for now.